Okay, I'm going to give you a quick run through of my covariance matrix builder add-in for Excel. But before we do that, let's take a look at what Excel does by itself. So we'll go to Data, Data Analysis, and then scroll up to Covariance and hit OK. Gives us a dialog box. We select our data. We have labels in the first row since I selected them, and then I'll choose an output range, and I'll put it right here. Now what you can see is that Excel puts formulas in for the variances, okay, and it's calculating a population variance, but it does not put in formulas for the covariances. Okay. This is odd, and furthermore, it doesn't put anything in the upper portion of the covariance matrix. So I'll show you my add-in, which is available on my website, www.tvmcalcs.com, in the blog section. So still on the data tab, I have the add-in installed right here, covariance matrix. Again, I'm going to select the data just like I did before. I have my data is grouped by columns. I have my labels in the first row. And in this case, I'm going to use the built-in Excel functions, and to match what Excel did, I'll choose a population covariance. I'll put my output right below the existing one, and I'll click OK. And you notice that I get exactly the same output. I'm only showing 5 decimal places. Excel is showing 6, so I'll go back to the Home tab and increase that. So it's the same exact numbers, and you notice now we have not only a complete covariance matrix, but also formulas everywhere. So this is a live covariance matrix. So if I was to change any of the data here, these formulas would update automatically. Now, let's make it look more like what Excel does. So I'll go back to the Data tab. I'll hit Covariance Matrix. This time I'm going to change my output range to right there. And still on population. But this time I want to show only the lower triangular portion. So I'll set lower, I hit OK. And you notice that again, I get the same exact numbers. Now, this time I still have a full covariance matrix, except that I've hidden the data here. So what you see looks exactly like what Excel gives you above. Now, in addition to this, my covariance matrix add-in can also calculate sample covariance matrices. So I'll go to Data, Covariance Matrix. This time I'll change it to Sample. I'll change the output range again. I'll put it right here. Same data. I hit OK. And you notice that we get slightly different numbers because this is a sample covariance matrix. In this case, I'm using the covariance.s function on the data. And I'm still showing just the bottom half, but the entire covariance matrix is here so that if we wanted to invert it, we certainly could do that using this output, whereas this output up here, we cannot use the m-inverse function on Excel's native covariance matrix creator. I'll show you one other thing real quick. If we go back to covariance matrix, I can also calculate the covariance matrix using the built-in array functions. Now there is a downside to using the array functions, and that is that at most you can have 73 securities or whatever it is you're calculating covariance matrix for. The number of data points is unlimited, but the number of variables is limited to 73 at most. You do not have that function or that problem with the built-in Excel functions because that's simply a bivariate calculation no matter what. So in this case, I will go ahead and output a sample covariance matrix using the array functions. And in this case, I'll show the entire thing, change the output, to right here. Click OK. And there you can see that we get the same numbers as I did in the original sample covariance matrix. I could do the same thing with a population covariance matrix. One last thing I'm going to show you. If you're familiar with covariance matrices and especially inverting them, you know that sometimes they can be very sensitive to the precision of the data that are used. So we can calculate I'll go back to the Excel functions and I'll do the population, show the entire thing. This time I'll put the output here. So we can look at the matrix condition number to see if we're going to have any problems with inverting the covariance matrix. Go ahead and hit OK. You can see that the covariance condition number is right here. And as long as that number is below somewhere around 100 or so, then you should be in reasonably good shape. If the number is considerably above 100, then you might have some problems with the inversion. If it's infinite, then you cannot invert the covariance matrix at all. But if it's a high number, inverting the covariance matrix is problematic. It will be very sensitive to the precision of the data that you have used. So again, if you'd like to get a copy of this add-in, it's completely free. It's available on www.tvmcalcs.com in the blog section. Thank you. Oh, one other thing that I forgot to tell you. Here I have some data for the S&P 500 monthly returns from September 2009 till September 2014. This is all 500 companies, and I'm going to show you that there's no size restrictions on the data set that you can use, at least that I'm aware of, basically memory. So here I'm going to calculate a covariance matrix for the S&P 500. So again, I'll go to my Data tab, launch my add-in. You can see that it still has the data from the previous one, but we'll just hit Reset All. And my input range, I don't want to include the dates, but I will get the ticker symbols and all of the data. And you can see we're all the way over here in column SG. Again, my data are grouped by columns. I have the labels in the first row. In this case, I must use the Excel functions, not the matrix functions, because they're limited to only 73 variables, but the Excel functions don't have that limitation. I will show the condition number, and for the output, I'll put it just below here. And I'll do a sample covariance matrix, show the entire thing, hit OK. This will not be sped up in any way. I'll hit OK. It says that I may have a problem. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Takes a few seconds to do this, but it's not terribly long. And there we go. So we have a covariance matrix for the entire S&P 500. You can see it's rather a lot of data. Scroll down to the bottom. We have the condition number. Now you notice that it says NA. The reason that it says NA on the big data set like this is because I use the M-inverse function that's built into Excel to calculate the inverse, which is needed to calculate the condition number. Because it's too big for the M-inverse function, I cannot calculate the condition number. That's something that I may fix at some point in the future. But you notice that it is relatively fast to calculate a huge variance covariance matrix, 500 by 500. All right, thanks.